love these islands and all that they share, warmth, love, happiness, and time to care. Untold tales of times long past, of kings and queens, of this and that. Trust in us and you'll know no cares. Throw back your arms and take to the air. These hidden valleys have a story.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Del Rosario, the host of this evening's discussion on Article 12 with panelists from the group Citizens for Change of Article 12. There's a reason why that this group endeavors to come out every week to explain what we have found under Article 12. A lot of people seem to either do not know anything about it or are ignorant about it. And so we have done our homework, researching, analyzing what are the components under Article 12. Article 12 begins its history with Covenant Section 805. It allows us to revisit this issue 25 years after we have become U.S. citizens. It's good to understand that this is basically a transitional provision of law, constitutional law. It grants us the opportunity to protect us from land exploitation by non-NMDs during the first 32 years of Commonwealth. It allows our people, after 32 years, to be educated and learn and become a lot more sophisticated in the disposition of their land. Now, I think we feel confident that our people can dispose of their properties in their own rights. We used to own land here 100% up until 1978, when Article 12 came into being. Article 12, ladies and gentlemen, speaks of several components. One of those issues pertains to what is known as the prohibition on fee simple. This provision of Article 12, this allows or prohibits you from owning your private land. This is about private land, what belongs to you. It is not about public land. In other words, the land that you claim as yours is only yours 50%. The balance belongs to the general public. The general public says, this is the way we want it done. I think we have outgrown that. We have learned, we've become educated, and have learned to be sophisticated enough to know what to do with our land. May I now speak in vernacular. Mañana manhã igual si John Rosario, the host gina na puengi para discutir este artículo 12 da Constitution. E razón na inatrebiha mafanyelos umina este na provision da Constitution sa insedda na miggay na tauto kung todo famagonta ni maniskwekula pogo ti matungo hafa gaigi papa este na provision da Constitution. Por ejemplo, ni unu tumungo, megete tumungo, na este na provision da Constitution na guaha 4 patiste ni fineni na e mafananan fee simple ni ti masedi ho ni ti sinedio para un renyo ni tanomo 100%. Lo haga sa mandrenyo hit ni tanota esta en 1978 onto di halom artículo 12. In Section 805, the Covenant has said that matan tati hafa esti patabisita esti na suntu pago o sinoto sakan. Esti na provision kalan ha protein nyayhun itaw-taw-tawno puno ufan ma tulegwan ni tanunya na yan atrabia ti makumprende hafa sustansya esti itano. Esta manedjakit, 32 anos de manedjakit a fanelos, hafa esti na sunto. Dankulu confiança ko na kana todo set, sina lumispone tanota 100% lao. Debi esti na provision intero artículo 12 ta na sua. Ta sede na infandrenyo talo 100% ni tanu mizo. Itu sasangan tanu publiko, itanu mizo ni private land, ni ling mizo na injon mizo, gipa gugwa gipa estino provision, ni unugin triamzo sinedo musponi now, di buenamente. Now, they go back to, they introduce the panelists for tonight, and they are former Senator Maria S. Pangilinan, and my partner in crime, Mr. Efrain Camacho, of Camacho Engineering Firm. I'd like to ask them for their reactions on this fee simple prohibition under Article 12 of the CNMI Constitution.
John, let me start. First, we are dealing with privately held land, not public land. Second, our group is not advocating that we all sell our properties. Far from it. Our group is advocating full 100% ownership of your land. The way it is now, you are not. There's a restriction on who you can actually sell to. So long as you're selling your property to another NMD, you're fine. But the moment you're out of that area, selling to a non-NMD, you are confined by the restrictions in the constitutions. And now that has a lot of restrictions, a lot of limitations. And therefore, you are not really a true owner of your property. And what we hope to point out to the community during these presentations are the limitations imposed under Article 12. And for us, because it is very clear, it was never intended, Article 12 was never intended to be a document to remain forever and ever. It was always intended by the convention delegates that after about 20 years, we would then sit down and revisit and see whether it's still working for us or whether it needs to be changed. We feel that it has done its purpose, and we feel that it needs to be changed because there are a lot of items that are disenfranchising people as opposed to really protecting them. And recently I met with people who have listened to our earlier presentations, and many of them were like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that that's what the provision of the Constitution says. For example, adoption, which I think we're going to be talking some more throughout the presentation.
Senator, you have
Thank you, John. The statement that you made earlier is an argument that was made by the first Constitutional Convention and continues to be an argument, most specifically by our group. And that's the reason that we're here, that the restrictions that is being imposed now by Article 12 interfered with an individual's right to sell his own land to anyone he chose. And the reason really given for protecting Article 12 are exactly the same reason that we should eliminate Article 12. Landlessness and poverty still occur. Families have accepted to lease their lands or have sold their lands, have squandered their money without investing for their future. So the question is, should we continue to use the same reason to keep Article 12 when the very harms that were supposedly being protected from still occur under the Article 12 mandate? The reasons for defending Article 12 are no longer valid as evidence from 25 years of experience.
Now, I'd like to ask our guest too, have you heard of any interesting or contrary reactions to our presentation over the last, say, a week or so ago?
Not so much objections as to like, but isn't Article 12 meant to protect us, our land? And of course, the simple answer is it was intended to protect ownership when back then, 32 years ago, we were unsophisticated. That's the very word that was said. Mm-hmm. That's not a word that I came up with. We were clearly viewed as unsophisticated, uneducated, untrained, and that we will be gobbled up by outsiders. And so now people are becoming more aware as we make our presentations that indeed there are things in the Constitution needs to be changed.